Which character do you hate more? Donkey from Shrek or Bingo from Bluey? Percy Weasley or Jerry Smith? Peggy Hill or Brian Griffin? Today, that's what I'll be deciding because I'm picking my least favorite character from all 20 groups and then ranking them from best to worst. I hope you enjoyed today's video and drop a follow if you like it. Enough yapping from me, here we go. Starting out at the bottom of this list, I have Bingo from Bluey. I have absolutely no issues with Bingo, and I'm not about to sit here and talk a bunch of trash about a little girl. She's a kid, so she's a bit annoying, but that's it. I really have nothing else to add for her.
What? Run! Yeah.
Dash is another character that I really have no issues with. That's why him and Bingo are so low on this list. If I had to find one thing, it's that he's kind of annoying occasionally just because he's a middle school boy, but that's about it. Dash is honestly pretty great, and so is his family.
In the escape.
Kylo is the first person on this list that I have a little bit to talk about. He's got anger issues and acts way too emotionally. He makes terrible decisions sometimes and killed off one of the best characters in the entire series. He's far from the worst person on this list, but he is my least favorite member of the Skywalker family.
Mom! Harold!
Donkey!
Now, Donkey is annoying, but he is purposely annoying, and it's funny most of the time. He talks way too much and is usually a hindrance to the rest of the characters, but he is funny and a good partner for Shrek. At the very least, he is a good friend and an interesting character.
The rocks!
Skylar haters beware because I picked Marie and not Skylar. Marie is mostly just another annoying character. She's a kleptomaniac, which causes problems for Hank sporadically throughout the show. She talks so much that Skylar eventually just tells her to shut up. And though Walt is definitely the bad guy in the show, the way she handles finding out everything always really annoyed me, even if she was right. I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but yeah, Marie is here at number 16.
How could they have plans?
That's what I want to know. What difference does it make?
The biggest reason that Estelle made this list rather than like Frank is how annoyed I am by her yelling and shrill voice. She doesn't have much to do in the show, but she just still always annoys me when she's on the screen. She mainly just yells, and every single time I watch through Seinfeld, it annoys me. It's not really fair to her because that's what her character is supposed to do. That's who she is. But nonetheless, this is my list.
Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four.
So I'm basing a lot of Reed's pick here on the early 2000s movie. He's kind of a dick and definitely the least likable member of the quote-unquote Marvel's first family. He's always telling others what to do, he's rarely any fun, and for him being one of the smartest people in the universe, he rarely says the right thing to anyone. I don't know, Reed just seems to be no fun at all.
What headgear? Are you looking at my headgear?
Shelly is honestly just a big bully. Stan never really does anything too annoying, but she's always off kicking his ass and bullying him. Stan deserves a better, bigger sister, and she was an easy choice for this list. She's not as terrible as some of the people coming up, but I don't know, I never liked Shelly. That's why she made the list.
Sugar-free and lemon-free.
Jerry is mostly just a dweeb that can't really do anything right on the show. He fails at almost anything he does and always makes things worse when he tries to fix things. There are times where we should be feeling sorry for Jerry, but a lot of what he does, happens to him because of what he brings on himself. Jerry deserves a lot of it, which sucks to say, but Jerry is my least favorite member of the Smiths, even though I love the entire family, so he's not too bad.
The years have been kind to you, Charles.
Professor X usually has good intentions, but sometimes makes the stupidest and most selfish decisions ever. He's like Reed Richards in that way too, because he always thinks he is so right and knows exactly what to do without asking anyone else, and that trope annoys the hell out of me. He isn't the worst character on this list, which is why he's around the middle, but he just straight up sucks sometimes and really needs to get off his high horse.
Hello, Pennyworth. I've heard of you.
Damian just had to be so different from the rest of the Bat family. He's Batman's son, but just never really fits in with the rest of them. He's way too into killing, which just is not the vibe for the Wayne household. He's always been annoying to me, and it sticks out like a sore thumb in that family, even compared to someone like Jason Todd. I don't like Damen Wayne, and I wish he was never really brought into the DC universe.
It's King Edmund, actually.
I was so excited that I get to talk shit about Edmund again. I saw the Narnia movie a bunch of times while growing up, and he always pissed me off. Like, who would sell out their family like that? For some Turkish delight, it doesn't even look that good. Are you kidding me? And Tilda Swinton is clearly the bad guy, you dummy. Her buddy pulled a knife on you within seconds of meeting you. I truly can't get over how much I wanted to fight Edmund as a child, and that feeling still clearly persists today. Speaking of selling out your family, Percy Weasley. He was so close to legitimately just becoming a Death Eater with the people he aligned himself with. How on earth can you be in the Weasley family and then turn against them? They're so good. A large part of this was probably just him wanting power and control and a job in the ministry. But while pining after those things, he lost who he was, and it was really heartbreaking to watch. I'm just glad he eventually got his redemption in the book, realizing his mistakes and going back to his family.
What are you talking about? Look at our...
This bitch was a problem in Encanto. Can you even imagine bullying your family the way she does, or shunning your children or grandchildren like this? She may have been the easiest choice when making this list, because every time I see her in the movie, I just hate her. And I realize it has a lot to do with her past trauma for her, but I will never forgive someone for carrying on the tradition of trauma, which is exactly what she did throughout Encanto, and just made her so unlikable. I was so excited to put her on this list.
That was close.
Truly, this is probably the entry that I feel worst about making. There's no logical reason why Dewey should be this high up on the list, and yet I hated his character as a kid. I hated his dopey ears, his dopey voice, his dopey character. He was so weird to me, like naming flies and hiding in the crawl space, eating like a hobo, as they said in the show. I did start to like him as he grew up a little bit during the show, but let me tell you, I truly hated that kid, and I know that's not fair to him, but that's how it was, and it's my list.
Protector of the realm.
Cersei just being number 5 should be a testament to how much I hate the people above her. She's evil, inbreeding, murdering, just a bitch. Some people may be surprised her son didn't make it on this list, but she's the one who really made him into who he was. At every turn, she was making awful decisions to steal and store power, and she left many dead in her wake. Cersei did not care about anything or anyone aside from power. That's all, and she just was truly the very worst.
That cool whip. What'd you say?
Brian sucks. Brian is a douche who constantly tries to sleep with his best friend's wife, all while pretending to have the moral high ground. He thinks he is smarter than every single person around him, and that is often proven wrong. Brian's ego is only second to the person next up on this list, and he always annoyed me. And I was excited when the show killed him off, even though it didn't last very long. Brian just has always been the bane of my existence when watching Family Guy, because he just sucks.
Without shame of any kind. Is it a good feeling?
Oh, Peggy Hill. She is the worst part of King of the Hill. She has a superiority complex that I've never seen before with someone who sucks so much. She thinks she's a genius because she's a substitute teacher, but would easily be the dumbest person in the family if it weren't for Luann. She teaches Spanish, but can barely speak even a little bit of it. As we see in the show, she just can't speak it at all. But honestly, the ego she has made her fly up to the top 3. If it weren't for actual monsters above her, she may have been number 1. I always hated Peggy Hill, and I will die on that hill.
The middle of an eclipse.
The Fire Lord was a piece of shit. He manipulated and abused his children into becoming monsters, or at least trying. He permanently scarred his own son for no reason. He turned Azula into the twisted evil person she became. He continued trying to kill most of the world. He was genuinely pure evil and deserved everything that happened to him in the show. Like, a lot of people would probably put Azula here, but Ozai is the reason Azula became the way she was. She was always like a daddy's girl. Ozai was awful and evil and definitely deserves to be up here at the top of the list.
Who left my kid with Frank?
I didn't.
Debbie truly started out the show as a pretty great character. She was kind and caring and always taking care of her family. But man, did that change. Here's a list of some of the reasons why she's the absolute worst. She once abducted a woman. She has sexually assaulted multiple people. She stole a baby and even neglecting her own baby pretty much constantly. She was an absolute monster, and it was always so crazy watching her throughout the show, seeing her make worse and worse decisions with practically no morals. Debbie is absolutely horrible, and somehow I hate her even more than the tyrannical Fire Lord, which is insane. She deserves her spot at the top of this list for sure, and I truly hate Debbie Gallagher. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me complain about these characters for a while. I hope you enjoy and leave a like if you did. Also comment below where you think I messed up and who should have been there instead. But for now, that's all. Have a great day, and I'll see you for the next video.